edition of Lunch with Gina Rise, and Lunch with Gina and Lunch with Alexa Jordan, I might add, who is an independent school alum. She went to Riverdale Country School, and thank you for joining us today,
Thank you so much
Alexa.
for having me. I'm so glad to be here talking to you.
Yes, the last time we connected via an introduction to our Rise community was a podcast back in 2011 where we talked to you about your experience at the mountain school. Do you remember that?
I do. I remember, I think it was in my mom's car. I really feel like I was on the way home from school, like talking to you on the phone or something.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of all of whether it's a podcast that we do or our lunch with Gina, you can do it anywhere you want. We're on the move. We're on the move. And so are you since graduating. And you graduated from Riverdale what year?
2013.
2013. Yeah. And Alexa went on to Vassar College. And she has graduated with the class of 2017. I'm going to read a little bit more about what Alexa's been up to that we're really excited to talk about today as we spend some time with an independent school alum. She's also not, in addition to being excited about graduating, she is so excited to be part of There's Blood at the Wedding, Songs for Loca at the La Mama Experimental Theater Club. Alexa is also honored to be working with the International Human Rights Arts Festival as their social media and volunteer coordinator. The Human Rights Arts Festival will be producing her first full-length play. So this play that we're going to talk about today, she's a part of, but she has her own play coming out called Fine, Fine. And it's an original drama about a therapist and her patients, and it comes out this fall. So we'll get into that as well. Yeah. So what has life been like? Well, let me start by asking you this first, Alexa. The golden ring for us, particularly parents at an independent school, is that you graduate from 12th grade and then you go to an amazing college and then you come out and you get a job and you're part of the working world and you're changing the world as well. So since graduating from Vassar, would you say that an independent school education prepared you for college?
100%. Absolutely. I actually just had my 5-year reunion with the Brearley School where I went before Riverdale. And I got to see a lot of people I hadn't seen in a while and just kind of reflect on my education as a whole. And I had my Vassar reunion as well because we had the AAAVC African American Alumni Reunion that same weekend. And I had this moment, I just said to my mom, thank you for choosing those schools for me. Because I was a little bit too young to choose like you do with college. And Riverdale, I had a little more of a hand in, but I don't think I certainly wouldn't be doing what I'm doing with the opportunities I had, but I wouldn't be who I am. And I think who you are and sort of your guiding principles of what your independent school education gives to your sense of self and day-to-dayhood really impacts what you do, I think, afterwards. Because that's sort of the biggest challenge after graduation to me, is sort of figuring out what to do once your teachers are gone and your homework is gone and your schedule is gone. It's like, well, where do I go? What's happening? And you have that work ethic and that rigor where you have, I think, it's hard at times, but a certain self-discipline that I think guides your life and makes you remember your goals and, wanting to make an impact in the world and such. So absolutely, 100%.
Well, I'm right there because my girl is a junior. So we're starting this college process and we're totally excited about her options and what she can look forward to. So you graduated from Vassar in 2017 and the arts, was that always in you? I don't know if I remember. Were you in plays in high school or where?
I did. I did an off-Broadway theater company my senior year called Love Creek Productions. So that's when I sort of knew I was doing it professionally and I loved it. And I went into Vassar like drama major, like I'm doing it. And Vassar is liberal arts, and they were like, Alexa, can you wait a semester? Like chill out a little bit. And I did. But the benefit of a liberal arts education, I think, coming from an independent school, is that I think I was always taught to expand my interest no matter what I'm doing. And certainly in the arts, it's obviously beneficial to have a plethora of knowledge and an interest in all kinds of things. So even though I was a drama major and I've loved the arts always, I also took a lot of English classes and have a love of psychology now that lets writing my play about a therapist. And I think the short answer is yes, but yeah.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about this play. I'm going to have a link, Rise. I'll have a link in the section, the paragraph section below the video, for you to get your ticket to this play that sounds really interesting. So I'm going to let you say the title because I got through it. It's a long title, but I think there must be a lot behind it. So tell us a little bit about how you came upon work in this production and what it's about.
Absolutely. So the play is called There's Blood at the Wedding, Songs for Lorca, which is a mouthful. And it essentially combines certain scenes from Lorca's Blood Wedding play, a really powerful play, with different accounts of police brutality, and really police brutality against unarmed Black men and Black, not all of the accounts, but that's basically the gist of it. There's we have different scenes. These pop-up books that are wonderful director and puppeteer extraordinaire made of Eric Garner, Sean Bell, Sandra Bland, Glando Castile, this really cool ruler for Amado Diallo with 41 rulers because he was shot 41 times. So it's really creative and imaginative and whimsical, but also devastating and important in that way. And it combines Lorca with these different puppets and brings in the circle of mothers that way to talk about the mothers grieving and getting through this loss, which I think is so important. So I'm really just like overwhelmingly honored every day to be a part of it, because to me it speaks to the core of why I do theater. People always ask, like, what kind of plays do you like to do? And I usually say, like, whatever I'm cast in. But the part of it, new work really excites me, and the fact that like we're bringing, this is the world premiere to life, is so exciting, and plays that make you think and have a message are even more exciting to me. And to be working at La Mama, which is a theater I love and respect so much, is just like a dream that I never could have imagined for my first year out of college, like at all. So it's just I'm so thankful. And it really ties back to my education, because my playwriting professor from Vassar from sophomore year, Catherine Fiu, was a wonderful playwright and mentor, actually emailed me, because she's just always the kind of person who thinks of you and kind of wants to loop you into things. And the stage manager on this show, Karen, was looking for an assistant. And I was sort of like, okay, I'm not doing anything. I would be happy to do that. And I emailed her back and forth my resume, and she goes, oh, actually, you act. You should audition for this. And I'm like, yeah, of course I act. I would love to. And it kind of just happened. It's sort of like a who you know, like connecting thing. So I'm so indebted to her and so grateful that she thought of me and that they took a chance on me. And I'm so excited to be a part of it.
What role are you playing?
I'm sort of it's a very ensemblaic piece. I'm officially actor, manipulator, singer, I guess.
With the puppets, manipulating with the puppets?
Yeah, I work more with the pop-up books. And they're like, I say pop-up book, but these books are like maybe 6 or like 5 feet. Like we carry them on. Like the Sandra Bland scene is like, there's a full like kind of jail. Like in that scene, I guess I am Sandra Bland because I'm in the prison, which is surreal to say the least. So it's less different roles and more like a storyteller. And at different points, you like do a certain like voice excerpt. Like I do an Erica Garner speech at one point, and I think I don't speak a lot in the Sandra piece, but it's sort of everyone working in support of the story. Yeah.
Got you. So it sounds like you do a lot of behind the scenes theater work as well, hence your full length play, Fine. Tell us a little bit about Fine. It sounds like you wrote it. Are you directing it as well? And what inspired you to write this play?
So I took playwriting with this professor I just mentioned, Catherine Fiu, sophomore year, and I don't really know how to explain why I took it, but I ended up taking intro to playwriting and dropping an acting class to take it, which makes no sense. Like, I'm an actor, and everyone was sort of like, what are you doing? And I just thought, I don't really know why, but this seems like a good opportunity, and I sort of want to try it. And I've always been into English. I loved English at Riverdale. Miss Fisher is my favorite teacher of all time ever. I thought, let's just try it. And the first day she told us, you are going to write plays about things you're passionate about. Like not just something you're going to make up out of thin air. You're just going to write something you're really passionate about. And I've always been very, very adamantly passionate about mental health, and above all, the stigma around mental health, especially for people my age and your daughter's age and just young people, and breaking that stigma, quite honestly. So I wrote a one act in that class about a therapist, one woman show, deciding between leaving her practice in Minnesota for a bigger position. And the crux there was leaving her patients behind, and like why she's a therapist and how she feels about psychotherapy. And then I finished that class, and drama students at Vassar are given the opportunity to do a thesis in drama, and you can pick a play and do it with a team. You can write your own play. You can devise something to come to an exhibition. And I thought, what if I write a play that expands upon that and includes therapists' patients? So I wrote it between, I think, sophomore year and junior year. I wrote a lot of it in London, honestly, when I was studying abroad in London. And I came back senior year and did it in the spring and co-directed it with my friend. I was not in it this time around. And we did a staged reading. And I actually also ended up winning the playwriting award, the Marilyn Schwartz 7 playwriting award at Vassar. Yeah, which is really exciting.
That's great. So when is that running? It's in the fall. Do you know?
Yes, it is. I can give you the exact date, but I believe it's November. I want to say like 8th, maybe. It's around Thanksgiving.
We'll let everyone know.
Yeah.
But more importantly, what's happening with the dates for There's Blood at the Wedding? Songs for Lorca.
Yes, I'm gonna not mess that up and give you the real date now. Okay. That runs on weekends, Thursday through Sunday. It is May 17th through June 3rd. Yes.
So what I really love about what you're doing, and everybody, Rise, we need to get out and support. For those of us that are here in the New York City area, let's make it down to La Mama Theater to support Alexa and her work. This is important work. We're talking about a huge social justice issue, a humanity issue when we are talking about police brutality, and to have a production that will be whimsical and moving at the same time is really exciting. So I'm excited about the stage production and your role in it. So we'll definitely be there. But thank you again for also bringing up the conversation and normalizing mental health issues, and folks understanding that if you break an arm, what do? You get a cast, right?
My point, exactly. I talk about that all the time. Yeah. All the time. It's insane.
Yes, and particularly it's a world issue, but when I think about independent schools, students who are in very rigorous academic settings, and then when you add the layer of race and socioeconomics on top of it as a developing young adult, over time you need to know that there are places for you to help manage all of the amazing things that you're doing, right? So that you can keep giving not only to yourself, but to the world. So I just want to thank you for all of the work that you're doing. I know that you're making your mama and your papa really, really proud. We're proud of you. And I'm so excited to have this opportunity to speak with you again and reintroduce you as an independent school alum to our community. Alum are very important because you serve as a mentor, right?
Thank
you serve
you.
as a mentor, yes, and inspiration to my daughter and to young men as well. So we just want to thank you, Alexa, for all of the work that you're doing. Is there anything else any words of wisdom, let's say, words of wisdom for those who are about to head off to college, or juniors who are thinking about it?
Well, first of all, thank you. That was all just so lovely and so nice. And it was just such a beautiful week talking to you. I'm so excited to see you soon. I guess I try to give advice based on what I've learned and not be too preachy. Because I know I would not have taken half my advice when I was 18 years old. But it's funny that you mentioned the mountain school when we last talked, because so much has changed since then. And so much of me is still the same, but so much of like what I'm doing and where I am just emotionally, even in the last year.
You
So
know
I
what, Alexa, could we describe what the mountain school is? Because that was a semester or a couple of
it was
weeks
a semester.
of your junior year, right?
Yes, semester school in Berkshire, Vermont, where high school juniors from around the country, and I think probably globally too, can come, and you get to work on a farm, but also take honors classes. So you take classes all day and then work in the afternoon, and you're there with about 45 other students. There is like no cell phone reception or internet in this one room in the library. And it was just the best sense of community that I had felt at that point.
And you also had, in addition to the sense of community, you also had time to be to yourself. Am I
Yes,
correct? Like a couple of
absolutely.
days when you're kind of wandering in the wilderness?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That's what I remember talking to you about. Like, wow, that's intense. But, certainly a moment to sit with yourself and to meditate and to listen.
Oh, 100%. And I think that looking back at it, having that time to connect with myself before like during junior year, before coming back to the college kind of craziness was probably like just very beneficial. I didn't think about it then, but having that sort of break and just away from my surroundings too, just to see who I was in that setting and to make new friends. I was talking to my best friends in the world from mountains. We talk every Sunday for like 2.5 hours. And we met when we were 16 at this farm in Vermont. It's so funny.
So I took you a little off track because I wanted to make sure that people understood,
Yes.
how the mountain school fit in
Right.
to your years in independent school.
Yes.
So the advice that you would give, or the words of wisdom that you would give,
Yes.
it sounds like you learned something from the mountain school until now that you've graduated from college.
Yeah. And I think it's less about what I've learned and more that I have learned. Everyone's journey is going to be different in college. I also should mention that in college, I was really a fan of taking a junior some time away in high school. So I was looking forward to going abroad so much. But then I ended up taking a year away from Vassar. I went to UCLA in the summer and took classes that summer to stay on top of my credits. Took the fall off, you could say, in the city and did some acting, and then went to London in the spring. So I graduated on time, but I took a whole year away to just kind of do my own thing.
You
And
were
like,
on top of things then to
yeah,
graduate.
I tried.
Time off and to graduate on time.
Yes.
You were very strategic about that. Smart girl.
So I like to say that my journey academically and just personally in terms of what I've needed has been so different from anything I ever pictured. And I don't think I could have had that journey if I had not been at Vassar. And I really didn't want to go to Vassar, Gina. Like, my college counselor, Elsa Abu Samra, basically
That's Elon's.
I love her. Hi, Elsa, if you're watching this. She made me apply because I was like, I'm not going to Vassar. My mom went to Vassar. Like, I've been there since I was 3. And she was like, of course you're applying to Vassar. Like, of course you are. And I visited and I was objective and something inside of me just knew I needed to go, but I really didn't want to. But my journey, like, I feel like I was given the room to grow and to be who I was, but also find room for like all these different interests. Like, I took neuropsychology my last semester of college. I took neuropsychology at 10:30 on Friday mornings while my friends were sleeping. I loved every second of it. And I think that my biggest piece of advice, go back to that, is just from looking at a college, like, if you're a musician, if you're in sports, all of that, like, go somewhere where you can do what you want to do. Like, yes, college is not high school. You can have a little more of a difficulty of major, but just make sure you go somewhere that gives you room to be who you are and accepts that you are not all of who you are yet. And that's a really beautiful thing, because I think surprising yourself, and like 4 years ago, I was not thinking about playwriting. I'd never written a play, and now I'm going to produce my first play. I'm producing it, which is crazy, in New York City. And I got to take a year away, and I love psychology and all these other different little facets. And I think that if you narrow yourself in, sometimes you don't get to see, maybe you'll see that person, that's great. But just like leave a little room for surprise. And also know that, just for anyone, other alums, I'm sure they can relate to watching, I think that post-grad life has also shown me that I don't know how anything is going to go. And once you give into that, it can just be a beautiful thing. It's like in theater, there's this game you play to warm up called Yes and. Like I would sort of like improv, and I'm like, Gina, like, do you want to go dye your hair purple? And you'd be like, yes. And I also want to go like scuba diving in Mount Fiji. Yes. And we should also like bring Beyonce along with us. Like that's just how the game goes.
I like that.
Which sounds great. We should totally do that. But life is kind of a game of yes and to me now. Sometimes you got to say no, but try to say yes when you can.
Yes, and I think that's a perfect way to finish our lunch. Yes, and we will see you on stage at this Blood at the Wedding song for Lorca, and it's going to be magnificent. Can't wait to see it. Again, Rise, let's show some love to Alexa. Alexa, thank you so much for your time today, for sharing your young wisdom, and for giving us different opportunities, different lenses to see things. And we're just thankful for you. So
thankful for you.
And again, we'll see you at the play, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you soon.
See you
Thanks,
soon.
Rise. We'll be
Thank
with
you, Rise.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.